What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host, Josh, and we are live today with a little Borussia Dortmund transfer rumors little episode we got going. I was gonna hopefully have an episode lined up to go out today, but it got pushed back a little bit, so we have a couple episodes also coming out in the next couple days, but I didn't give me an option to go live with you guys, so as you guys may have noticed, we gained a community board, which is fantastic. And I found out that you guys wanted to just do a little bit more transfer talk. So I was reading a little bit of articles and whatnot and found a couple of things I wanted to touch on today. And I figured it'd be a nice little opportunity to chat with you guys before we get going on a little bit of actual videos. So I hope you guys do enjoy this little transfer talk. And we're going to be touching on 3 points. The usual point, which is obviously Julian Brandt being linked to Arsenal. We're going to be talking about Marco Rose because he's been in the news lately, and of course Jadon Sancho, but I don't really want to focus too much on Sancho today because it's just a continuing thing. But the big one is the story I have on the board for you guys today, so I will obviously address the comments because that's the whole reason we like to go live here, because I like talking with you guys, but I do want to read this article and just kind of get your guys' take on it as well. I really didn't think, and this, I'm not saying this is the most legitimate article there is to ever read, but I really can't imagine that Borussia Dortmund is going to be looking to sell anyone in January, and I just read the 3-4 articles down the past couple days, kind of around the same thing, so I'll just get going and just kind of give you a little bit of what I read. They basically said that Arsenal have been told that they have to shed about 25 million in the January transfer window if they want to sign Julian Brandt from Borussia Dortmund. First thing I thought when I read this article is that 25 million is very low for a player of Brandt's qualities. I know how obviously he's has had his struggles when it comes to this season, and it's nothing that I can say that makes anyone think any differently because it is true. Julian Brandt has not had a very strong season so far, which is why he's being linked away. He has the Euros coming up. There are legitimate reasons as to why this rumor could happen. I just can't see them being willing to let him go immediately like this in the January transfer window for such a low price. But we are going to be going point by point. So we'll go through Brandt. So I guess I'll just start addressing some of the comments and seeing what you guys have to say about that. Luca is here. Luca, how are you doing, my friend? Big shout out to Luca. He is helping us with the Discord. So if you guys are not in the Discord, let me know and we can get links out to you guys. But Luca's kind of taking that over right now, and I am very thankful for that because he's actually killing it. So, Luca, I know you want me to do a couple things for you, but I was a little late getting home. So as soon as I'm off the stream, I'll do that for you. But do really appreciate what you're doing in the Discord, and it's going to hopefully be a lot of fun with you in charge. Tyler says, yo, Steve, the yellow wall, both say hey and yo as well. How you guys doing today? Jonathan is here. He's excited to talk a little transfers, and he also has an opinion onto sell Brandt. So, Jonathan, why is it that you want to sell Brandt, and do you want to sell him in the January transfer window, or do you prefer to sell him in the summer? Because for me, unless we replace him, which you've heard me say over and over again on this channel, that I don't think that they're going to sign anyone in January. So we're basically just walking Brandt out of the door for not that much money, to be completely honest. I mean, yes, Brandt hasn't had the greatest season ever, but we know exactly what he can do. And I believe that he's honestly probably worth more than 25 million, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. But, I mean, Jonathan says sell. It's too early to sell anyone. The hard part in the season is just coming out, and Brandt can defensively shine like all others. Steve, that's a good point, and I agree just because we have a long season, and like I said, there's no point of panic selling Brandt and then not buying anyone because, A, we now have a little bit of hole in our team, and it's no point of going out and spending a bunch of money on a player that we don't know will fit the future manager, which is the next point. If you can tell by the thumbnail, the 3 people we will be talking about will be Marco Rose. But it's tough though, because the more I think about it, is the only way I see this happening is if Brandt is actually pushing for a move himself. And I don't honestly know if he is or if he's not, but it is not, to me, it's not very likely that Dortmund are going to want to sell him, just for many reasons, but I hope that they definitely don't do it in January. And I mean, if Brandt wants to move on in the summertime when we have time and money and can think about who to sign, I see someone here is already thrown in, Peter said we should sign Donny Malen. I'm 100% behind that. I just think it's gonna have to be in the summer transfer window. Lucas says, are you watching the Juve Milan game? Amazing game. No, I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not. But I'm live with you guys, so you can just keep me updated with some of the games. There are some good ones going around, but I have to leave in about like 30, 40-ish minutes, so I have to take time and talk with you guys today. So, I mean, if there are any of you guys are watching any of the big games out there, do keep me posted. Dan says, sell Brandt. We already have Gio and Royce, and that is honestly, a good reason why Brandt would potentially leave. Like I've said, Royce's are now, Gio's our future. I've seen people on Twitter and Instagram reach out to me, and they were saying basically like, why would we sell Brandt? He is our future. And I strongly disagree with that. I think that Gio is clearly our future. I think Gio that has shown like the potential. He's got more potential than Brandt does at this young age. He's obviously preferred by now 2 different managers over Brandt, and I just don't see Brandt being able to punch into this team unless he plays completely out of position, and we just honestly don't really want to see that. Will you do a watch along for the Leipzig game? It can be a season-defining game, in my opinion. 100% I am doing a watch along for the Leipzig game. That is definitely happening. So we're doing a nice little preview for you guys. It's an actual video format, as well as another surprise video that's coming out in the next 2 days. And then we will be doing our watch along on Saturday. So obviously I'm very, very excited for that because it's going to be a intense game, and it's obviously we're away. Not that, I mean, it's a huge difference now without fans, but it is a defining moment. I mean, I really thought the Wolfsburg game was a big game for us just because how important it was to bounce back knowing that we have Leipzig, Leverkusen, and Wolfsburg coming up, and we got 3 huge points, so I'm happy about that. But it's gonna be a tough game, and I'm excited to do watch along with you guys on it this Saturday, and hope you guys can all join me. And like I mentioned, Peter said we should sign Donny Malen. And I'm 100% behind that. I am. I don't know if we're going to do it in the January transfer window. That's probably not going to happen, but I could be wrong. But the big thing about reading these kind of articles is that I just really didn't think there was a chance that we'd even think about selling anyone in January, especially Julian Brandt. So that only reason I could think it happened is if Brandt has went to the board and said, listen, like, Euros are coming up. Arteta, and there's been rumors linking Arteta to actually talking to Brandt, said he wants me. He wants me to come over. There's an open number 10 role. It just was said that Mesut Ozil had a deal with Fenerbahce. So, I mean, it's a direct replacement for Ozil and could obviously give Brandt some creativity in the Arsenal's midfield as well as obviously some more minutes. But I just think it's such a touchy subject right now, and I wanted to hear what you guys think because, I mean, as much as these rumors could be BS, which they obviously could be, I mean, there's probably a little bit of merit to some of them. I just honestly don't see a way Dortmund can let him go. I really don't. But we're going to move on to our second point now on the transfer little radar here. And this was a pretty cool article that I found for you guys. And it was linking Marco Rose on over to Borussia Dortmund. And I was pretty excited about this because I do like Marco Rose. And I'm kind of excited to see if he's going to be the manager to come to Borussia Dortmund. But you guys have also heard me say on the channel a bunch of times that I don't know exactly what I want when it comes to a manager. Really, I don't. I don't know exactly who's going to be the manager to take Borussia Dortmund to the next level, who's going to be the next Jurgen Klopp. I really don't know who it's going to be. But this article was very interesting when it came to linking Rose to Borussia Dortmund, and it basically just said that Marco Rose is enjoying some different, obviously, big games when it comes to Borussia Mönchengladbach, and he's not trying to focus on the rumors, but they keep re-emerging, which is very interesting for me. And I just wanted to hear what you guys had to say because I think it's going to be a huge talking point when it comes to the summer and leading up to it. Because I have a feeling that they're probably going to be doing some of these talks as we speak when it comes to some different managers out there. And I think Marco Rose honestly is top of the list. So, I mean, I know you guys, and I've thrown around too the name of like Jesse Marsch, for example, and Terzic still has a shot as well. But I don't know, the more rumors I keep seeing popping up like this, linking Marco Rose to Borussia Dortmund, makes me think that there is probably something in the works. So, if you guys want to let me know what you guys think about him and if you want Marco Rose, because I'm kind of a hit or miss whether I want to see him come in or not. But we'll just have to see. Steve says, and 25 million is a joke when Brandt will shine again and his value can easily rise above 60 million. And yes, Steve, I 100% agree. Like, if we're going to sell Brandt, we should sell him for to make money. I mean, I believe if we sell him for 25, we made absolutely nothing on Brandt. So there's not really a point to sell him, especially it's mid-season. And like I mentioned, I don't believe we're going to sign anyone. So it's basically just taking an asset from the team, shipping him on off for a loss, and then waiting till the summer to reinvest the money. So it just makes absolutely no sense to me. The only thing I can think that sees basically Brandt move on is if Brandt literally says, I want to go. Can you please honor that? Because I have Euros to play for. Danny Drinkwater, in my opinion. Are you the yellow wall, are you saying that he's like a Danny Drinkwater, or are you just mentioning Danny Drinkwater? Because I don't think Brandt's quite as bad as Danny Drinkwater, but it is a lot of money to be sitting on the bench, so I do see something there. Do you rate players like Pau Torres and, you, my friend, are following a couple young talent? Yes. Out of those three names, immediately... And I know like they all have different traits and are obviously different type of center backs, but for me, without even going any farther, Pau Torres 100% is a center back that, I mean, I should honestly maybe do a video on center backs that I talk about, but he's someone who I think is going to go to one of the big clubs. I think Pau Torres is so good for Villarreal, and I mean, I know he's been linked for a Sergio Ramos replacement at Real Madrid. Maybe he'd want to stay in La Liga, but if I'm talking to one of the boards and they're going for suggestion, yes, absolutely. Pau Torres, all three of them could be potential center backs for me. But the reason Pau Torres I'd rate a little bit higher than the other two is mainly because he's a little bit older. He's got a little more experience. He plays in the Spanish national team. I think that he would come in and fit very nicely at Borussia Dortmund. I don't think we've been actually linked to him. I honestly think if anything, he's going to Madrid. But that's the type of center back I'd like. I think the other two are just a little too young for me. Not that Pau Torres is that much older, but he does have that much more experience when it comes to playing in the Spanish squad, and that's just very impressive, even though they do lack center backs from time to time. But he has been playing with and learning from the likes of Sergio Ramos, which is another thing that I very much like. If Marco Rose comes to Dortmund, do you think he should bring Ginter along with him as well? Jason, that's an excellent question, because I did mention Ginter one of the earliest episodes here on the channel. And a lot of people didn't really like it when I said I love the way that Ginter plays. I think he's completely rejuvenated himself as a center back in the Bundesliga with Gladbach. But a lot of people said they don't really want him to come back to Dortmund, which I found a little bit surprising. So, I mean, if you guys have any input on Ginter, put it in. Because if I'm Marco Rose, I'm bringing Ginter right back with me. I think Ginter is one of the top Bundesliga center backs in my opinion. I would welcome him back to Dortmund with open arms. But yeah, I mean, it all depends on preference, and if Ginter would want to go. I mean, things didn't really work out for Dortmund, which led to him going to Gladbach, where he really developed and found himself as a player. So I personally would take him, and I think he would fit in at Dortmund, but it would be interesting. Let me know, guys, in the comments. If one player you were to take from Borussia Mönchengladbach with you, if Marco Rose came, who would it be? Would you target one of the wingers? Alisson Plea, for example? Maybe Kramer? I don't know. Just like Jason said, I would take Ginter if I could take one. I need to go to sleep, but please, guys, like the video and share it. Also, subscribe to this amazing channel and turn on notifications. Just such a good person right there. Comes in every single time I'm streaming and drops that. Thank you for staying up so late, and a nice person from Kuwait. I know it came from Bayern's Now channel, but it's just a beauty when he's over here. So enjoy your school tomorrow, and thanks for the support, my friend. He is class. He is. Good night. A couple more years of development in the U23s, he could become world class. Neuhaus, yes, that's an excellent one too. I just always find we're always stacked when it comes to the center defensive midfielder area. But we have someone else saying Neuhaus or Zachariah. Zachariah has been someone who's been linked with us before. We know that. It's not a surprise. It just, I don't know. When it comes to me thinking about Borussia Dortmund and who to target, I just immediately go to the wingers as well. I mean, obviously fullbacks, but not like crucial. But center back is a big one for me. So that's why Ginter pops out to me. But both of those two center defensive mid are fantastic and would both definitely fit into the squad. And potentially Dahoud could be on his way out. I don't obviously 100% know. But, I mean, yeah, there are some quality players at Gladbach. So usually when a manager makes a jump to another Bundesliga side, it's not unlikely that he can take a player. So you never know. For me, a manager who I want to come is Wagner. Arsene Wenger. Got a top 4 with those shitheads, plus the football he plays is magnificent. Holy. I do like Arsene. Like, he's obviously done a lot over his years, but I mean, he's a very, very old manager. Like, old style kind of manager, as well as just his age in general, which is just something that I don't know. I'm not, if I target someone, I would like to see someone in the early 40s, only because it just kind of gives me the throwback to when Klopp came to the team. A lot of basically years in front of him. Arsene Wenger, I don't think is going to be in management anymore, but he is a fantastic manager. It'd be very interesting to see if he took on another job, but I don't believe he will. But that's just my opinion. But I do know what you mean about the type of manager like Arsene Wenger, someone who has won a lot, someone who does play attractive football. But for me, I mean, just given the realistic options, it's looking for me, I guess Marco Rose is going to be my favorite. But how did you come up with your name? JJD TV? It is my initials of my first name, my middle name, and my last name. So if you guys didn't know that, there's a fun fact for you. And then TV. So, I don't know, kind of fit like the BVB. So I just put Josh and then my middle name, last name, and then TV. Do we need Jadon Brandt? No. It depends, actually. The reason I would say no is if they put in a buyback clause. I'm not a fan of buyback clauses, mainly because say we sign Jadon Brandt for $8-10 million, we develop him up to the winger that he will potentially become under Borussia Dortmund, which we know is obviously a very high possibility, and then we obviously sell him back to City, for example, for $25 million. He plays 2 great years with us. He's obviously, at the time we sell him back to City, he's probably worth a lot more than we sell him back. And on top of that, now we are back right where we started. So if we get Jadon Brandt in the way that we got Jadon Sancho, and that there's no buyback clause or anything like that, then I would take a shot at him, because I hear he's very highly rated out of everything I've read. But if there's a buyback clause, I'd rather just go for someone who's going to stick around, and we don't have the thing in the back of our head that's going to say, okay, 2 years later, he's going back to exactly where he came from. So I wouldn't do that. But our final little topic that we had here on the channel was Jadon Sancho. And I don't know if a lot of you guys heard of the rumors linking him. I mean, they're consistent, so obviously you guys probably heard about it. But he has been linked back to United. It's not a surprise when it comes to that. And it's just gonna be interesting to see the way this thing plays out. Because I don't honestly know what's gonna happen. I've heard rumors that Sancho's actually asking to potentially go back to England, which, if that is the case, I do believe that we will probably move him on, but we're going to have to wait and see. Because I've told you guys, like, I don't have a preference. I mean, I love Jadon Sancho. I hope he stays for as long as he possibly can or wants to. But if he wants to leave, then I don't want players sticking around who don't really want to be here. For many reasons, we've seen it happen in the past with the Aubameyangs, the Dembélés, and situations like that. So whatever Sancho wants, I guess I hope he gets, because I have read a few rumors of him getting linked right back to Manchester United, but I don't know how much. They're the English press. You can't take them too seriously. But Luke is back, says, Milan Juve just ended. Juve won 3-1. Amazing game. Highlights are worth watching. Every single night when there's games on, I definitely sit on DAZN or beIN Sports or whatever it is and watch highlights. So I'm definitely going to watch the highlights of that one. Would like to have watched that game. I personally would have liked Milan to win, just because, I mean, I don't want to see Juve win another title. So kind of annoying, considering that both the Milans dropped points today. Napoli dropped points today, so that just gave Juve a real stranglehold back into the title race, which kind of sucks. I mean, you're right. I know it won't happen for those who are linked with Jesse Marsch. Is my favorite to come. Not really sure about Rose. Yeah, and that's fair. No, like, I totally did get your point about Arsene Wenger. I mean, proven winner, and has obviously played and competed at the highest level. That's why I say, like, there's not a manager out there right now that just screams to me that I'd be desperately wanting to get. I just think of the realistic options. For me, there's really only 2. And I know that some people have mentioned, obviously, like Erik ten Hag, who I just believe I saw your comment about. I have no problem linking Erik ten Hag or Julian Nagelsmann to Borussia Dortmund. I think both managers would do a great job. I think both managers have proven themselves at their respective clubs. I just think with them coming to Dortmund, it looks very unlikely for me. But I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens there. But yes, I just saw a nice little comment, and I'm gonna actually bring it up because it was pretty funny. when it comes to the players who just got their evaluations. So I think it's gonna be funny to take a look at that. But when it comes to a manager who I think is realistically gonna get linked, I think it's just Jesse Marsch and Marco Rose, and I'm starting to think each and every day that Rose is gonna be less and less likely to actually potentially come here. So, all right, let's take a look. I am going to share my screen with you guys and bring up the ratings. I saw that, but I'm going to do it in a second because I have a couple more to see. I would love to see Ten Hag or Marsch, Klopp, or, yeah, Hassam. He's a good one. I mean, he beat Klopp 2 days ago. Yeah, from reading, at least from what I read, I mean, if you guys have any other articles or anything out there that is leading you guys to believe any other linked rumors, I haven't honestly read a single article about Ten Hag, for example, being linked to Dortmund, which kind of sucks because, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him. I don't know if his Bayern pass holds him back, but I've really only legitimately seen and talked to some insiders as well about who could potentially be the manager, and I can only really see Marco Rose doing it at this time. Totally forgot about Ten Hag. If he comes, I'm buzzing, and I'd be pretty excited too. But Milan is still 7 points ahead. I also want them to win the league, Luca. Yes, but Juve do have a game at hand now without that Napoli game, but you know it's a little annoying. I hope that someone else can win it this year, just for the Did you see the picture on how valuable players are on Twitter? I did. I'm going to bring it up for you guys just because it's hilarious, and we can I guess go through it. We can go through it together. Why not? Let's just bring up my Twitter. Someone tagged me in it already. All right, let's take a fun little look at that. But we'll address a couple more questions first. Why didn't Dortmund try to sign Pochettino before PSG? Language barrier is the reason. I believe that you need to basically speak German to be eligible to go for the Borussia Dortmund job, which is why he didn't get it. I don't think we should let him go for under 35 million, more like 40. I totally agree. I don't think we should sell him January, hurt our chances of obviously qualifying for Champions League, and on top of that, take a loss on Brandt. This doesn't make any sense. Who do you want for our right back position? Unfortunately, I think our right back is going to be Thomas Meunier or Marai for the foreseeable future, just because, I know that we don't have any money to spend. But I don't even know. I don't even know if I want to address the right back spot, because I just know that it's not going to be addressed. It can't be. We don't have the funds to do it. We have too many other holes in the squad, and the board doesn't want to give up on Meunier. Clearly he's in, and Luca's just made a very, very true statement here with 3 inevitable facts in life: death, taxes, and Meunier starting. So yeah, I mean, I haven't even thought of a right back that I'd like to see linked to Dortmund, because I really don't think anything like that is going to happen. However, I don't think we need to replace him immediately because we have depth in that position. Yep, and I agree. Do you follow Fear the Wall? I do. I do follow them. Yo, what's going on, my friend? Do you see Klopp coming back in a few years? I put a very bold statement out and said that, like, low-key, good old Stevie Gerrard goes back to Liverpool, and then Klopp comes back to Dortmund. But I honestly, I don't know. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me, because I do think he really loves this club, but I don't know. I wouldn't hold my breath about it. Nah, Zorc won't sell him. Yeah, I mean, I hope not. I really hope that they don't sell him in January. I wouldn't have an issue with him potentially getting sold on in the summer window if that's what he wants and he hasn't turned his game around. But yeah, let's just take a look at this I have on the screen for you guys with the players' valuations, and having Marcus Rashford up there at 165.6 compared to Erling Haaland with 152. That's a joke. Trent Alexander-Arnold is worth more than Mbappe, another joke. Sancho and Felix, Davies. I mean, it's just, look at, like, how is Saka worth 116 million? And Mount's 190. I don't know. I don't even want to look at these and make me very frustrated. I can't believe how low, the big ones that stood out to me is how low Mbappe was. That's very surprising to me. How high Rashford and Arnold are very surprised to me. I think Haaland could be arguably one of the highest, but you know, I don't know. I don't make it, but I'm assuming you guys don't agree with some of that as well. What are your thoughts on Tiggs? Is he... Oh, where'd that comment go? For me, he is better than Moukoko at the moment. I know Moukoko is a fan favorite, but the guy expected to be a banger and has missed a lot of chances. I honestly never thought Mukuku was going to come in and be like a game-changing starter. I really didn't think that, mainly because of his age. I think he has done good. I just don't want to see his development get hurt. So if they decide to do a couple switches back and forth between the two, have one of the two up with the main squad and have the other one down in the second team and scoring goals there, I'd have no problem with that. I don't have a preference really right now. I really honestly don't think I've seen enough for either one of them to justify which one's been better. But you do make a good point in that they are pretty even at the moment. So I'd like to see Mukuku get a lot of minutes just in general this season. So I mean, if he's not getting them with our first team squad, I would kind of hope he gets sent back to the second team, the Bundesliga or the Borussia Dortmund 2, and get some minutes there. I hope all of our boys come back to full tier health and Terzic brings back the heat. I agree. I think Klopp once said he wants to go to both Bayern and Dortmund once in his career, and I don't know if it's true. It was a few months ago. I've never heard that, and I desperately hope that's not true. I know Klopp was wanted by Bayern. I don't know if that's actually the case and if he would ever go back, but I really hope not. Rashford is not even worth half. No, he is not. Haaland, Sancho, Mbappe, and Davies should be at the top. I agree with that. How is Rashford in the top 5 or even top 10? King Kong. That made me laugh. And yes, I don't know. That was immediately the first thing I thought when I saw that list. That's an absolute joke. I like Rashford as a player, and I like him as a person. I think he's a fantastic person, but I don't like him enough to say that you deserve to be where you were, because that's just not true at all. Thoughts on Sancho? I think hopefully Jadon will find some form and turn it around. I was very nervous for a good stretch there when he was putting up just poor performances and just losing confidence. But I really do hope that he's able to turn it around, and after a nice goal and assist against Wolfsburg, I mean, if he has a couple back-to-back performances against Wolfsburg and Leipzig, that is a way to get your confidence back. But I love Sancho. I love Sancho as a player. I love Sancho as a person, and I just, for his sake and for Borussia Dortmund's sake, I really hope that he can find some form. Mason Mount at 108, biggest joke of 2021. Yeah, I can't deny that. Do you think there's a chance that Tuchel will go back to BVB? No, I don't. Not a chance. I did like what Tuchel did with Dortmund. Don't get me wrong. I really like the way that the team played and just like what he did with some of the players there. But he will not go back to Dortmund. Not a chance. I'm not saying that I wouldn't like to see it, because I think it would be very interesting to see if Tuchel came back and what he would do. But no, he just stirred the pot way too many times, and I don't think he'd ever be welcome back. This list is total BS. Rashford number 1 and Hakimi going from 40 million to 113 in half a season while not being at his best. Yeah, I mean that list, there is so much on it. For me, the two that stand out the most is Rashford and Saka, to be completely honest. I don't know what Saka has done in his time at Arsenal. Yes, he's a great young talent there, but to be worth 116 is a joke for me. That's my opinion. That honestly almost makes me more angry than Rashford's. They're pretty close. I don't know. Those two for me is just a joke, just because they're English, just because they're in the Prem. It is what it is. Oh, Luca found it. I found this. I don't know if it's true. Klopp, I want to coach Germany, Bayern Munich, and then back to Dortmund and Liverpool for life. Whew. I'll have to look into that, Luca. I mean, that number one thing I would ask for right now is that Klopp comes back to Dortmund. That would be it. At a time that I don't have a manager in mind that I want to see, it would be amazing, but how would you like to see Haaland and Tiggs starting together up front in some smaller matches? I think it would be fantastic, because Haaland plays with Sorloth for Norway, who is similar. That is true. I mean, if we played in that, obviously it'd have to be lined up in a 4-4-2, which very untraditional formation nowadays. But I mean, like you said, in a smaller match or potentially the upcoming DFB Pokal game, it could be potentially interesting to have those two strikers up front, have Sancho on one wing, I guess maybe Hazard or Gio on the other wing, the usual whoever could be, Jude and Witzel, for example, in the center park. Yeah, I could see it. I wouldn't mind seeing it. I just don't think Terzic is going to go away from the 4-2-3-1, and if he does, I think I mentioned this on the channel, if there's one other formation I could see him switching to, it would be the 4-1-4-1, just because he's got experience with that from his time at Dortmund as well as West Ham. But, I mean, it'd be interesting. I haven't seen Dortmund playing a 4-4-2 in a long time. Werner, 135 million. This is a joke. Which one of y'all disliked the video? It was probably Saka and Rashford. Buggers. I don't want to see Klopp at Bayern. I don't want to see Klopp at Bayern. It'd be the last thing I want to see. Who on earth made this list? I don't know who made this list. I know he's young, but he's a great talent and can change the game. And I would say should play more instead of Mukuku for the cup and everyone because the title race is over, but not me. I mean, yeah, potentially. Like I was impressed every time he's come on the pitch, and I've been criticized a little bit for not giving him enough credit where credit's due because he has been impressive for a name that kind of came a little bit out of nowhere this season. I didn't know if he'd be getting at least this many reps up with the first team, but yeah, he has been very impressive, and I hope that one of the two can take the role as our backup striker this season. Absolutely. I guess Tuchel has many options in the English Premier League or Spain. I think that he's linked to the Chelsea job, and if you've seen the way that Frank Lampard's team's playing right now, I mean, it wouldn't shock me. Roman Abramovich does not waste time. The only reason that Lampard's probably still here is because he's a fan favorite and a club legend. But mark my words, if there's a manager to take over at Chelsea, I bet you it's Tuchel. Macedonia. We have a couple Macedonian viewers that are on the channel. I don't think the other one is here, though, but he may be. I want to see Jesse Marsch at BVB. I would like to see Marsch just because I think it's cool that he's American. But I still personally think that Marco Rose is probably going to be the guy. Lucas sent me the full article. Beautiful. What do you think of the Werner and Havertz situation, especially Havertz? Don't see signing young talent suffer because of poor coaching. I think that signing Havertz was stupid from Chelsea, and I think that it was stupid of Havertz to go. So I had a very strong opinion on that at the time. I thought Havertz was the last thing that Chelsea needed. They have a stacked options at center attacking mid. They have decent options on the wing. Havertz just did not fit in that system. You're going to have to drop one of your huge, expensive signings. Why didn't you sign a quality center back or even a more quality goalie than Mendy? I completely didn't understand why they signed Havertz. I think they just said Leverkusen was willing to sell, and they said, all right, well, we'll do it. Because it just made no sense, and now we're seeing him suffer, which is, I honestly didn't think it was going to go either way. Or Havertz would have broken and someone else would have suffered. One of their big signings would have suffered, and it just seems now to be Havertz. So, and for Werner, I think Werner just is getting played out of position in a system that isn't really working for him. No offense to Frank Lampard, because I really do like Frank Lampard, especially as a player. But, I mean, Nagelsmann's a much better manager, and, I mean, obviously it's showing just the way that Werner has left and then went to Chelsea and is getting bossed by Lewis Dunk. So, I don't know. That was posted in 2019. No. I could see Klopp wanting to maybe coach Germany. I could definitely see that. Tuchel's the guy who gets sacked after getting a good season on 2 occasions, I think. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Because he's obviously toxic. It's definitely showing that he's obviously got some type of issue when it comes to either following instructions from the board or just honestly running a dressing room. I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah, he had a great season with Dortmund, was sacked, and he had a great season with PSG. They made it to their first ever Champions League final and just came off a 4-0 win and they get sacked. So, I mean, it's got to be something to do with him. Havertz is a wonderful player. I am also disappointed when he left. Chelsea just ruins talents. It's looking that way. By the way, if Brandt goes this winter, this club should just say that they don't want to win something. My opinion on Brandt is honestly that selling him in January would be stupid, especially because I believe we are not going to replace him. We definitely aren't going to replace him. There's no question about it. I am betting as much as I possibly could on the fact that they're going to sign whoever will be future coach. Maybe it's Marco Rose, maybe it's Jesse Marsch, maybe Terzic turns it around. I don't know. But I don't think they're going to make that decision until basically the summertime, and then they will look to reinvest money. I don't think they're going to want to sell Brandt and then reinvest money immediately. I know I've said it a bunch of times on the channel, but the only reason I can see Brandt going is that Brandt asked to get sold. And it's just him saying, I want a Euro spot, and you're not giving me the minutes, and I'm not fitting the team. Because now it's 2 different managers, and Brandt still can't seem to break his way into the club. So I think it would be wrong for the board to sell him in the January, and I do really think that they won't do it. So 2 BVB players in the top 10. Sancho and Haaland, baby. I think Tuchel should go to Chelsea. Yeah, a poisonous kind of manager and a poisonous kind of club. I mean, I see it. Do you think Dortmund should start loaning out some young players like Mukuku, Rashel Bellingham? I don't know. That's a good question. They've done so good over the years developing young players like this. I mean, I don't know. No, I don't think I should suggest that they should start doing things like that, because mainly they've been able to turn young talents into sensational players. And even at times when they do look to loan out players, those players usually get sold on. So, I mean, I don't know if I would change their strategy like that, but I mean, potentially looking to loan out some of the maybe a little more, like little older players that are in their early 20s that aren't anywhere near getting into the starting 11. Maybe it's good for them to go out on loan, but I don't think it's really Dortmund's style, and I don't really see them changing it. What is the problem with the defense? Is it a certain player or a few or the tactics? Well, we did just win our last game 2-0. So I mean, Jadon Sancho had a little bit of experience playing with some tactics and seeing what he could put together for the Wolfsburg game. I was very impressed with the center back duo, obviously of Akanji and Hummels. I think pretty much everyone was. But I mean, before, I think it was a bit of everything. I don't think we can blame the defense for even that Stuttgart game. I mean, the midfield wasn't doing jobs. We weren't honestly doing anything offensively as well. It was a whole bunch of different things, and I think it just basically changes needed to happen. I think Faber was very stubborn and didn't want to make these little tweaks to try to come up with something new. And I think having Jadon Sancho come in, like that first game, yes, we didn't get a clean sheet, but in my opinion, this first game in charge, we played a completely different way. But now we had a little bit of time in that little Bundesliga break to actually focus on the team and try to turn them into what he wants. And I was impressed. I was very excited to see the way that they were playing in front of us, and getting a 2-0 shutout against a Wolfsburg team and shutting down their star man was a big up for me. So I think the upcoming games, I'll be able to give you a better answer with that, to see what we do against Gladbach, Leverkusen, Leipzig. Right there, we're going to have an idea of where this defense and where this team's at. Thoughts? Bellingham is a treat to watch. He is. He's gonna become a baller, and he's got a decent chunk of minutes. He's a 17-year-old. He's only gonna get better. Thoughts on Dahoud's situation? I think we should sell him. I mean, I thought he was gonna get sold in the last summer, and he didn't. And then he put up great performances, in my opinion, and isn't getting picked by, again, 2 managers. So, I mean, if I was Dahoud, I'd want to get out of here, just because it's just not what why bother? I mean, it doesn't matter. Even if he's playing well, he's not getting into the team. So for him, Dahoud's situation to me is a complete mystery. I have absolutely no idea why he's not getting played, but it is what it is. I went on a 2011-2019 BVB highlight marathon earlier. Damn, I miss Götze. Yep, I fell in love with the Borussia Dortmund when their front four was Blaszczykowski, with Royce on the left, Götze in the middle, and Lewandowski up front. That was a team. So I've had some lonely nights looking at some of the 2013 Champions League runs a good one. And I really want to do a documentary style for a lot of, just in general, for fans who maybe just became Dortmund fans, or just to honestly relive it. It's one of my favorite moments, just following Dortmund. Yes, we didn't win, but Dortmund's Champions League path was absolutely insane. 2 games stood out to me. Obviously, Robert Lewandowski's 4-goal game against Madrid, and of course, the Malaga game. And I just think I have a couple ideas in mind of kind of replicating and kind of going through the process of that entire Champions League performance. I think would be kind of cool. So, I mean, if you guys do want to see something along those lines, let me know. We do have a couple things in the works. But for you guys right now who are on the stream here, I do have some huge news. Some absolutely huge news. And I'm not just saying that because, I mean, I've said it a couple times in the past, I got crazy news. And we have had some pretty cool news. I mean, going on Rabona TV's channel was obviously amazing. But the news that I have coming up for you guys is insane. And I'm not going to tell you what it is quite yet. The announcement will be coming up soon. But it's honestly, it's an honor. And it's so cool that this is in the works. And you guys will find out, I'm not sure exactly when in the next week or so, but you'll definitely find out for some type of partnership that I'm not going to let you guys in on quite yet. And the first broadcast of this crazy surprise will be for the Mainz game. So definitely keep that in mind. And I just, hope this little teaser can get you guys excited, because there are some pretty cool things coming up on the channel here. To get back to the manager situation, I think we should wait and see what Terzic does. Well said. And I said that there's still a chance. It is a three-person race, in my opinion. Jadon Sancho, to see what he does for the rest of the season. He could potentially get the job. I think that's the least likely. I think Jesse Marsch is second, and I think Marco Rose is more than likely going to happen, but you never know. He wants Haaland to take Lewandowski's route, free transfer to Bayern incoming. No. Get out of here, King Kong. All right. Where were we? Do you think Marco Reus is useful for the team or not? I absolutely do. I think Marco Reus has still got a lot of quality in him. I think he's still the leader of this team. And I think that his performances are getting better each and every week, honestly. I mean, he's had a lot of injuries, which is a tough thing to come back from. And obviously, I mean, especially at the highest level. But I've been happy with a lot of Reus' performances this year. I'm hoping they just keep getting better. Zagadou looks very promising. I think that he should play over Akanji. I do think Akanji's playing well now, but I do think Zagadou has come off the bench and looked very good, very commanding in the air, big presence as well. But especially with the Wolfsburg game, I think Hummels and Akanji are the preferred duo as our center backs and will more than likely be the center backs going forward. But we only have really 3 center backs, so sooner or later there's gonna have to be a change, and Zagadou's gonna have to sneak his way in there at some point. So I would like to see it come up, but I don't think it'll happen. It might happen for the Mainz game. If I was taking a guess on when Zagadou's going to start, I'd say the Mainz game. He's got a shot at going there. I really hope Haaland doesn't lose his form. Me either. His game against Wolfsburg wasn't the best, but he was coming back from, obviously, an injury. It's not the easiest thing to do, but I have, honestly, high hopes for Haaland. I don't think that there's going to be anything that can stop him. He's a machine. They still don't play really great football, but they're on track. No, they're not playing great football. No one can kid themselves. Dortmund is a far ways away from that. It's a transition type of year right now, in my opinion. Anytime you see a manager get sacked, it's just, kind of saying that. But I think Terzic will have a little bit of fun playing with tactics, playing with personnel, and hopefully we can have some fun flowing football before the end of the season. We should sell Dahoud for his own sake. Yeah, Luca, I agree. We have to. I mean, if he had the performances he did this year and he still can't break into the starting 11, something's up. He's just not favored. It is what it is. Do you see Zagadou and Akanji staying here for a long time? I know that they have both been linked away recently. I do, actually. I think Akanji more than likely will be here for a long time, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I really like both players. I think they both can grow here. I think they both like being here. But we're going to have one last question, though, because I do unfortunately have to go. The girlfriend just arrived, and I have to get off. So the final question of the day will be going to... Right. It'll be Bayern. I did it randomly. Lewy, bro, I don't care. It's a poor one, but it is what it is. But all right, guys. So, yeah, definitely stay tuned in the next week or so. We're going to have just a huge announcement coming up. You guys probably will have no idea what you possibly think that it's going to be. I mean, I honestly didn't think that this was going to just hopefully be what it is. I honestly didn't see it happening, but I'm very nervous. I'm very excited for it. So I hope you guys do enjoy it. We'll keep you guys posted. As soon as I'm able to announce it, I will put it on all the social media platforms. I really, guys, think you will enjoy it. But I do got to head out. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me here on a little transfer rumors talk. If you are not in the Discord, reach out to me on Twitter, Instagram. Luca is doing a great job in charge of that. The Discord is a lot of fun, and hopefully if you guys want to just communicate with us and other Dortmund fans in our nice community, you're more than welcome to join. So until next time, guys, if you haven't, drop a like on the video. Be sure to comment as well after, and we will see you next time.